Welcome to Hollywood Bulletin, the channel where we uncover the untold stories behind the stars you thought you knew. Today, we're diving into one of the most heartbreaking revelations in recent Hollywood history. The real cause of death of Pee Wee Herman Paul Reubens, a man who, for decades, made the world laugh, even while he was suffering in silence. As fans, we knew the red bow tie, the gray suit, the high-pitched laugh, and that wonderfully bizarre playhouse. But we didn't know the man behind it all. The man who, for 6 painful years, carried a secret so heavy that it only came to light after his death. Why did he hide it for so long? What really happened behind that ever-smiling persona? And how did a life so full of color end in such quiet, tragic sorrow? If you're finding this story compelling so far, don't forget to subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin and press the bell icon so you never miss a story that brings Hollywood's biggest names to life in ways you've never heard before. Now, let's get back to the story. Born Paul Rubenfeld in 1952 in Peekskill, New York, Paul Reubens was destined for something extraordinary. While his father was a real-life war hero, one of the founding pilots of the Israeli Air Force, Paul's path was always theatrical. After moving to Sarasota, Florida, the winter home of the Ringling Brothers Circus, young Paul became mesmerized by performance. While other kids played baseball, Paul studied body language, timing, and the rhythm of laughter. That love of performance followed him to Boston University, then to CalArts, where he immersed himself in experimental theater. But it was in the late 70s, with the Groundlings Improv Group, that Paul would bring Pee Wee Herman to life. And what a life it was! Pee Wee wasn't just a character, he was a phenomenon. The HBO special, Pee Wee's Big Adventure, directed by then-unknown Tim Burton. And of course, the beloved Pee Wee's Playhouse, which won Emmys and Hearts alike. The character became a cultural force. There were dolls, lunchboxes, Halloween costumes, and comic books. Paul rarely appeared out of character, and Pee Wee Herman became more than a performance. It became a mask, and behind that mask, the real Paul Reubens was slowly being buried. He became a symbol of innocent fun, a modern clown whose exaggerated silliness masked a deeply complex, often lonely, inner world. But while millions of fans adored Pee Wee, Paul Reubens was quietly unraveling. Fame boxed him into a corner where he felt he couldn't be himself, especially when it came to his private identity. In interviews, he dodged questions about his personal life, particularly about his romantic relationships. Later, in an unreleased documentary, Paul revealed he had been in a long-term relationship with another man, something he never felt safe revealing during the height of his fame. Back then, the industry was ruthless about image. A single truth could end a career. And for Paul, that meant living a double life. Funny on the outside, fractured within. The pressure mounted. Then came 1991. Paul was arrested in an adult theater in Florida, an incident that turned public opinion overnight. It wasn't violent, it wasn't criminal in the way the headlines suggested, but it didn't matter. The fallout was swift and brutal. Pee Wee merchandise vanished from shelves, networks pulled the show, projects were canceled, and Paul disappeared. He didn't fight the media, he retreated. Then in 2002, he was again thrust into controversy, accused of possessing inappropriate material. He wasn't convicted of any serious charges, but the damage was done, again. And yet, this time, Hollywood fought back. Directors like Tim Burton, fellow actors and comedians defended him, publicly calling out the unjust treatment he faced. Paul began a quiet return in the mid-2000s, taking on small roles and slowly rebuilding his reputation. Still, while the world debated his past, Paul was facing something far more terrifying, a secret that not even his closest fans knew. For 6 years, Paul battled 2 devastating forms of cancer, acute myelogenous leukemia and metastatic lung cancer. He kept it hidden. No interviews, no leaked reports, no sympathy pleas. Through it all, he kept working, writing, creating, dreaming, until July 30th, 2023, When Paul Reubens passed away at the age of 70, the world was shocked. How could someone so full of life, so eternally youthful in our minds, be gone? Just like that? The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner confirmed his official cause of death as acute hypoxic respiratory failure, the tragic final stage caused by those cancers. His body had slowly been shutting down, robbed of oxygen in the most devastating way imaginable. And yet, he never told us, never wanted pity, never wanted to taint Pee-wee's playful legacy with illness and sadness. That's the kind of man Paul was, a performer to the very end. But before he left, Paul did something extraordinary. He recorded over 40 hours of footage for a final documentary titled Pee-wee as Himself. It's not just a film, it's a confession, a goodbye, and a gift. In it, he speaks openly about his identity, his regrets, and his battles. He finally shares the truth behind the controversies, the loneliness, the fear of never being accepted as Paul, not just Pee-wee. He spoke about the love he was afraid to show the world, the moments of vulnerability that never made the headlines, and the illness he faced with silent courage. In his posthumous Instagram statement, Paul wrote, "Please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing the last 6 years. I have loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you." That line alone broke millions of hearts. His legacy now stands as more than just quirky laughter and whimsical TV sets. Paul Reubens taught us that behind every iconic character is a real person, complex, private, and deeply human. He made the world laugh when he himself was in pain. He gave joy to millions while suffering in silence. And even in death, he gave us something priceless: honesty. So now, we finally know the truth. We finally know Pee-wee Herman's cause of death. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. If this story moved you as much as it moved us, let us know in the comments. What are your favorite memories of Pee-wee Herman? How should the world remember Paul Reubens? And most importantly, subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin. Hit the bell icon for updates, and join us as we continue to honor the untold, unforgettable stories behind Hollywood's most iconic stars.